Hello, this is Brett from SurvivalComms. In radio direction finding, an antenna that exhibits directional characteristics is considered essential. One of the most popular is the loop antenna, which receives well on the broadside and nulls on the ends. Today I'm going to show you how to build a working transmit-capable loop antenna in an afternoon out of, for the most part, commonly available hardware items. The antenna we're going to build today is a Lambda Loop for UHF frequencies. The Lambda Loop is a full wavelength transmit-capable loop with a quarter wave matching section. We're going to make a circular loop in our build today, as seen here. In future content, this antenna will be used quite a bit. Much of the design work and resources I am sharing today are the project of YouTube creator Electronics Unmessed, and his video is linked above in the card and in my video description, so please check out his excellent work regarding this subject.
We're going to build it out of the materials you see before you. We have a 3-foot section of 9914, which is just like LMR 400. It's solid conductor, RG8 size low loss cable, and we're just going to be using the center conductor out of this. So you could use some 14 gauge Romex or a 12 gauge Romex or something of that nature, and it'll work out well for you. We have a little section of RG58. We have a crimp type BNC connector. We have a terminal strip, and we're only going to need one section of that. And of course, we're going to be using fairly simple tools to construct this antenna. Now, before we go down the rabbit hole of element construction, let's go ahead and build our feed point here. So get yourself one of these terminal strips here, and these are pretty common in low voltage electronics, alarm cabinets, things of that nature, and I've used them for all kinds of other stuff. And what you want to do is you have some grub screws here, go ahead and remove the grub screws. Once you've removed your grub screws, take the body of the terminal strip and pop it out just like that. Once you've got that done, go ahead and open your RF connector, and the only thing you're going to need to remove from the package at this time is the body of your RF connector. Now what we need to do is we need to take and solder these two items together right here. And you can see this terminal screw has already got a semicircular cutout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my file here, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the finish from this connector to get a better solder bond. Now once you've completed that, take a hemostat and hold your work together as such, and then we're going to go ahead and flow solder in this particular joint here and connect these two together. Flow solder into your joint. And we've got our solder connection completed, and we've got plenty of clearance for our wire. Go ahead and reinstall your grub screws. Let's complete the rest of our feed point. Go ahead and strip back some of your RG58 here. And you don't need this much. Remove your shield. Go ahead and strip your cable for connection of the center pin. Just like that. Take your center pin, place it on. Your center pin should go all the way back. You could solder it if you desire to do so. I typically just crimp these, so. Just like that. Now go ahead and insert it into your RF connector. Place it down, and you'll feel it snap, just like that. And now what you can do is remove some of your insulation from here. But we'll do that whenever we're ready to assemble the rest of the antenna. But at this point, you now have a completed feed point adapter. Now we're going to scavenge this center conductor. So just remove your jacket. Now that you've removed all the jacket, you can go ahead and strip your shield off. Save your shield. This is good for all kinds of other projects. Now we're going to remove our dielectric So do the same process. Just remove the dielectric and expose your center conductor, and that's what we're going to make our loop out of. Well, that wasn't much fun. So go ahead and take your feed point and slide your feed point over top and walk that around just like that. If you look at the video description, he has a jig which links to his Excel spreadsheet to determine the feed point and the size of the match. But he's got this one already figured out for 435 megahertz. So you take and print out the two 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper and you tape them together like this. And then what you're going to do is you're basically making a loop that is a full wavelength loop with a matching section. Once you get your loop lined up here and get it to the right size, to assist you, you can use that crimp shell from your RF connector right here, and that's going to hold the position of the loop for you. This portion of the loop here, or this portion you see, this is going to sit right here, and this loop is going to go fold back around that. So we're going to want to fill this joint with solder. What we can do in the meantime is we can take and apply a mild crimp to this ring to assist us with holding this together. Just like that. And let's flow solder in our joint. Flow solder in your connection until it comes out the other side. Now that we're done with that, take this section here and you're going to want to fold this back along here for your matching section. And you want a dimension of close to 10 millimeters according to his instructions here for this particular frequency. Now you can see what we are working with here. We've got our feed point right here and our matching section. We're going to need to trim up our matching section, of course, but we need to remove some material from this center pin here, some of this dielectric, and then what we'll do is we'll loop this around this matching section, and then that way we can make some adjustments to this to make sure that we're in the ballpark where we want to be before we go ahead and apply solder to it. Well, here is our completed Lambda Loop antenna for UHF. I've attached it to a 3-foot piece of bamboo with some wire ties to give it a nice handle. You can see our attachment details here. Essentially, with the Lambda Loop, you have a quarter wavelength matching section and a full wavelength loop at the frequency of interest. And you can see the details here. We've just tightened up our screws to our loop here and then taken our center conductor out of our RF connector in that little section of our G58 and soldered it to our matching section. So let's take this outside and put it on some test equipment and see how well it works. Well, let's start our test. The instrument we're going to use is my Onritsu Cellmaster. Our control antenna is going to be a UHF ground plane antenna. And here's our antenna under test, is our loop antenna we just constructed. They're both mounted on bamboo, and we're using the exact same feed line for both antennas during this test. Well, let's start with our control antenna, and we see our SWR and our return loss measurements. This antenna, as constructed, favors the lower range of the 70 centimeter band. Now our loop antenna, and you can see it favors just above the 70 centimeter band, and this is the return loss as measured. One thing of note is that the loop, as constructed, is quite malleable, being soft copper, and when in service, changes in the dimensional relationship of the match with the loop affect this measurement. The original measurements shown here were more in line with the original design, and during a trip to the beach over the weekend, the dimensions likely became altered.
Just something to be cognizant of. Now we are using a UHF trunking control channel as our signal source. This is the on-signal performance of our ground plane antenna. Next, we see the on-signal performance of our loop antenna. We do see an elevation in the noise floor compared to our control antenna, and we see the presence of a second signal perhaps 2.5 kilohertz below our monitored signal. Now we have placed our test antenna in a null, and we can see the decrease in test signal strength and an increase in the second observed signal, likely indicating that signal may be emanating 90 degrees in relationship with our test signal. The second signal, while interesting, isn't as important as a demonstration of the directional characteristic of the loop antenna and the ability to null the signal to assist us in ascertaining signal axis. In Electronics Unmessed's content on the Lambda Loop, several mentions were made about the Lambda Loop functioning to a degree as a bandpass filter, and we're going to test and demonstrate this characteristic. In this image, we see our control antenna, the ground plane, receiving an out-of-band signal on VHF and the measured signal strength. Now, in this image, we see a repeat of this experiment with the Lambda Loop, and we do see a considerable drop in VHF signal compared to the control antenna. Let's demonstrate this on a radio receiver. We're now on signal. Now let's go ahead and place it in a null and look at the difference in our signal strength indicator and our received audio. Now we're in a null. And now we're back on signal. Now we're nulling our signal again. And back on signal. So there you have it, the UHF Lambda Loop, a fun little afternoon project. I hope this helps. This is Brett from SurvivalComms. Till next time.